What is up, Collector Crew? Shiny Collector 98 here. Manaphy is often regarded as the hardest Pokemon to shiny hunt, and although that is debatable, what isn't is that there is a huge misconception about how you hunt this Pokemon. Many people believe that you need to buy thousands of Pokemon Ranger copies, beat the game, send the Manaphy egg over from the Ranger to your Generation 4 games, hatch it there, and then it has a chance to be shiny. Not only will this take much longer than the way you actually hunt Manaphy, but it actually has zero chance of ever being shiny this way. So starting from the setup of the hunt, here's the best way to shiny hunt Manaphy. We want 10 Manaphy eggs. I'll explain a little bit later why, but for now just keep in mind that we want 10 eggs. There are two ways we can go about this. One is the fully legitimate way, which costs you a lot of money, and one is the mostly legitimate way, which saves you a few dollars. To start with the fully legitimate way, we need to know that Pokemon Ranger games can only send over one Manaphy egg per game, regardless of if you start a new save file. You need to buy Pokemon Ranger, beat the game, send over the Manaphy egg to your main Generation 4 game, and repeat this until you have 10 Manaphy eggs on your game. Keep in mind, some of these Ranger games may already have the Manaphy egg taken from them, so you will play through them for absolutely nothing. I advise that you resell these games once you are sure they don't have the egg, or once you have already taken the egg yourself. That way you get some of your money back. The mostly legitimate way involves buying an R4, link in the description below, putting a Pokemon Ranger ROM copy on it, beating the game, sending Manaphy over, deleting the save file, not to be confused with the save data, and repeat. This saves you a lot of time on waiting for Pokemon Ranger games to come in the mail, saves you time and effort on buying and selling the games, and guarantees that once you beat the game each time, you will receive a Manaphy egg. Now that we have our 10 eggs, there are some game mechanics that we need to understand. First, there is a shiny lock on Manaphy that prevents it being shiny on the game that Pokemon Ranger sends it to. This is why sending over thousands of eggs and hatching them will never get you a shiny. This is because the formula that generates shiny Pokemon uses the Trainer ID, Secret ID, and the Pokemon's personality value. The game makes sure to give Manaphy a personality value that will not generate a shiny using that specific Trainer ID and Secret ID. However, once it has its personality value, that stays with the egg, allowing it to be shiny if hatched under a different Trainer ID and Secret ID combination. You need to trade them over to a different Generation 4 game, hatch them on that, and then check the summary for it to be shiny. It will never be shiny in the hatching screen because it always hatches in the appearance that it is on the original game where it is picked up. I also recommend leading your party with the Pokemon that has the ability Flame Body or Magma Armor because they half the amount of steps it would normally take to hatch the eggs. If you check the summary and none of them are shiny, you want to soft reset so that the eggs are all unhatched. Send them over to your other Generation 4 games until you have hatched them on all of your games, and then we continue to the actual hunt part. If you have hatched the Manaphy eggs on all of your games and none of them could make it shiny, we are going to start new games so that hopefully one of them will have a TSV that matches Manaphy's and it will be shiny. Doing this across two Pokemon Platinum versions will produce the best results, because Pokemon Platinum has the fastest time from game data deletion to being able to trade. On the new game, you will be able to buy Pokeballs as soon as you are done finishing the dialogue in Pokemon Rowan's lab and talking to your rival outside of the Pokemart. Buy the most amount of Pokeballs possible and use these to catch 11 wild Pokemon, making 12 Pokemon on this game total including your starter. This is one for each egg, one for the Pokemon with Flame Body or Magma Armor, and one because you need at least 2 Pokemon in your party that aren't eggs to trade. Needing to catch as many Pokemon as we do is why we need to get 10 eggs, because we do not have enough money in the game at this point to get more Pokeballs. Send the eggs over to this Platinum and hatch them. While you're doing that on this game, take your second Platinum game and set that game up to be able to trade as well. If you repeat this cycle of hatching the eggs on one game while starting a new game on the other game and sending them back and forth, you will eventually get a shiny. As I'm sure you can tell by the long time it took to explain this, this is not going to be an easy hunt. I definitely don't recommend you try this unless you have extreme levels of patience, because even though this is the fastest and best way to go about this hunt, you would still only get about 10 eggs hatched every 40 minutes to an hour. On top of that, you have the chance of finding other shinies during this hunt as well, which may add some complications and make it take longer. This includes your starter, any Pokemon in the wild before you have Pokeballs, and any Pokemon in the wild while you are looking for those 11 Pokemon to trade. I understand that this topic can be confusing at parts, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. If you're watching this video while it has already been out for a while, please check the other comments before asking your question, because it has probably already been answered. That's about what it takes for this hunt. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, keep it calm, cool, and collected.